Hello and welcome to another episode of FPL Variance powered by Fantasypedia. Fantasypedia is your one-stop shop for everything related to fantasy football, whether it's chances created, captaincy, or any and every FPL decision. Fantasypedia is one of the best out there, and we're just trying to uh, help FPL managers get to the next level. So drop us a follow on Twitter, and we have a brand new episode with us. And my name is Zeeshan, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Rakshit, Anshuman, Manan, and Mihir. How's it going, everyone? Let's start with you, Anshuman.
I mean, it's going fairly decent. I had a red arrow. It's probably I was around 100k, big red arrow for me, and we'll see to it. Let's see. I'm looking forward to Gameweek 5 quick turnaround. I have nothing to add to my team at the moment.
That's right. That's right. What about you, Rakshit?
Yeah, hi, Zeeshan, hi everyone. Can't complain really, although I got a red arrow. So OR is around 4K, which is an absolutely dream start. And I'm generally normally a person who starts very slowly. So it's been a pleasant surprise, you can say. So the initial team selection with people like Sanchez, I had Haaland early, Kulusevski keeps on delivering, people like Trippier, Zinchenko, basically got the basics right. And I've been playing around with the smaller differentials ever since. So yeah, I mean, it's been all right and can't complain really.
That's great. That's great. Manan, how was your game weekend? What did you
Hi
do?
everyone. I got a red arrow. Of course, I had Salah captain. So it's a bit surprising. I'm on 66 points, I think, and I have a 400k red arrow. So yeah. Looking forward to the next game week.
Yeah, that's. I think we're looking at very little red arrows, most of us. And yeah, last but not the least, one of the two new faces. So Rakshit and Mihir are joining us for the first time. Mihir, what about you? First ever appearance. Tell us how your game week has been.
So first things first, hello everyone, first time being here. So sorry if I make any mistakes, but hopefully can learn from them. So on the FPL side of things, the week has been okay. Didn't have the big hitting Liverpool boys in Luis Diaz and also Robertson, but slowly and steadily got a green arrow. But so that's all that matters. A few regrets, but not that many. A good start, hovering around the 500k mark, and along with the template, and the key gains start from now.
Yeah, thanks for that, Mir. And yeah, just for our viewers, right? Just a short intro of who we are and what we are trying to achieve here. So we are like five people, and we all love FPL. Manan and Rakshit, they are apart from being excellent managers, they're also part of the Fantasypedia team, and we've spoken about what Fantasypedia does and how we are trying to help FPL managers out there. Obviously, free of cost, whatever content that we put out every week. So yeah, two excellent managers in Manan and Rakshit. Anshuman is the founder of one of the biggest FPL pages on Instagram. So again, he brings his sort of pedigree to the fore. And Mihir is, if you're on Twitter, if you're part of the FPL community on Twitter, Mihir is one of the most popular accounts out there, and really helpful. He's helped a lot of FPL managers in the community. And yeah, last but not the least, about me again. I like chatting Twitter. I'm fairly popular on FPL Twitter. I am known for being a bit out of the box when it comes to playing style. That's something that led to me coming number 12 in the world last season and getting a little fantasy prize for that. So yeah, just a little introduction of who we are and what we do, so that you could resonate with some of us, different playing styles and stuff like that. And yeah, about my review, I think a fairly okay week, if you want to call it. 82 points. I'm looking at a reasonable green arrow from 3.9 million to 1.7 million or something. And yeah, I had Captain Kane, and like the others, no Salah captain. I wildcarded. So yeah, we sort of talk about it later. But for now, yeah, let's just jump into it, right? We have a lot of topics that we want to cover, and a lot of hot topics in the community as well. So we are going to start with the whipping boys. So there's a big score, this game week. Liverpool scored 9 past Bournemouth. So yeah, who are the teams to target going forward? Manan, can you take us through that?
Yeah, sure. So basically, right now, I think there are two main teams who everyone should target for their attacking players. I think one is Nottingham Forest. I think they have conceded joint most shots on target. They have conceded the most shots. I think they are on basically every metric for on every defensive metric. I think they are ranked 20 and 19th. And the another team would be Bournemouth. They have not conceded a lot of both teams. I think they have just conceded 5 goals. Uh, if I'm wrong, if I'm right, but no, sorry. I mean, they have conceded a lot of goals, and their XGC has also been very terrible. They are ranked in the bottom half for the XGC. So I think these both teams should be the teams to target. I think Nottingham Forest are, as we saw earlier today, that they are good at home. They quite attack well. They attack quite well, and even they are bad at counters. But at home, we can expect them to be a bit better than they are away. I think that's the two teams I think we should target for our players, specifically for our attacking players. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's a fair shout, and the fact that you mentioned that when Nottingham they're playing at home, they tend to attack. I think that benefits the opponents, and if the opponents are of Spurs or City's quality, I think that will play into their hands, right? You could end up conceding a lot of chances. And Anshuman, do you want to add to that? Do you sort of
Yeah, I
agree that?
mean, I was kind of getting to that. I think even Leicester should be added to the mix. I think Leicester are equally poor defensively, and I don't see them, especially if Fofana going. I don't see them getting anything any better in the near future, and I think they should be added equally to the mix. They've not conceded huge number of uh, goals, but they've conceded enough big chances and chances down every flank, right, left, up, down, everywhere. And the goalkeeper isn't the best. I think Mihir would relate that to that the most. I think being a double Leicester keeper owner, so I think I would probably even put Leicester into the mix. And yeah, Bournemouth obviously yes, and Nottingham yes. At home they're better, but yeah.
Another team, if I can chip in, it would be Villa. Now, Villa have been really bad, and West Ham did not score a goal up till now, but Villa gave them a chance to score. And Villa also have Arsenal coming up, then they have Man City coming up, they have Leicester coming up, and they obviously lost Diego Carlos to a bad Achilles injury. Tyrone Mings was sick in the last match. A lot of players who are basically short. So I think uh, someone pointed out that all their starting players today were below 6 feet. So aerially also they are susceptible, I feel. And Steven Gerrard is under a lot of pressure, absolutely a lot of pressure. And things can really go really bad for Villa very, very soon over the next couple of game weeks.
I mean, I'm not sure if it was a Villa bad defense. I don't know if the stats back it up. I think they've been okay, not really something I would put in the whipping boys category. But yeah, they do look like decline as a declining team. I think Gerrard is also in his later stages. Probably if he doesn't get a result soon, and the next fixtures are really tough for him. So it's going to be a tough time for Villa out there.
Yeah. I think Villa as a team, not just defensively, they look like a team that don't have an identity right now. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a very good shout. Uh, uh, like obviously we talked about Bournemouth, and the 9-0 thrashing was a bit of a surprise because we discussed the underlying data in the previous game week and they were doing all right. So it was disastrous what happened. Maybe at some point they should have parked the bus. I think the coming weeks could give us a good idea of how bad Bournemouth really are. But yeah, right now they're definitely up there, and NFO is obviously up there with them along with Leicester. And now that we're speaking about the Bournemouth Liverpool game, another hot topic that is Mo Salah or no Salah. Everyone captained him, and there have been some murmurs that maybe we could do without Salah if we are not captaining him the next 2 or 3 weeks. Rakshit, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so obviously a team wins 9-0 and someone like Mohamed Salah is blanking is an absolutely crazy event. And obviously we've seen a lot of basically a Twitter meltdown when the match was going on. I had Mohamed Salah captain. Most of us had Mohamed Salah captain. His XGI numbers were impressive. Just that he lacked that killer instinct. He missed two great chances to score. I think I was just discussing it with Manan earlier today only that if Salah had put away the first chance in the first half, that 2-yard tap in basically, he would have easily gone on and basically scored a hat trick in that match. That was the kind of game it was. And Newcastle are a team I feel who like to go for it. Just like obviously their defensive data is okay, it's decent. But as we saw against Man City, they are not a team who basically will like to really sit back and defend deep. And although Newcastle is not the greatest fixture, but I think if you go for Mohamed Salah captaincy at versus Newcastle at home, I definitely have no problems with it.
So you're firmly in Mo Salah camp, Rakshit.
Not really.
Definitely.
I haven't decided on my captain yet, but in terms of a Salah to keep him in the team or to captain him, I see there is no long-term issues with his gameplay.
Oh, that's fair.
I mean, to if there's anyone who's in the Mo Salah camp, if there's anything to add, yes, he was very good and he played well. But I do see problems and I do see a crack in the essential Mo Salah theory or maybe the narrative, because yes, he was very wide. I have a problem with him. He was the furthest player on the pitch, but he was very wide as well. Yes, Bournemouth are the weakest on that flank, and that is why probably he was inside the box a lot. But again, if he keeps on going that wide, and there are other players such as Darwin and Luis Diaz, who you on a combined value is almost as expensive as Salah, you want those guys over Salah. It is basically a better distribution of funds, and I don't think there's at the moment, maybe this game week you don't need to rush and knee jerk into selling Salah, but I think there's a good narrative and possibility that you can go without Salah, and there is huge possibility of upside there. I don't think Salah is necessary this season. I don't see that, oh, he's necessary. He's decent. Yes, he's good. If he gets back into form, you get him. But I don't see, oh, you can't remove him. Yes, if he doesn't perform game week 5, I think there's a case of removing him. Even game week 5 this week, if you have 2 free transfers, if you don't have other fires to put out, I wouldn't be very surprised if someone sells Salah this week.
Well, I agree with Anshuman Loki because whilst I have been a pro Salah believer over the years, but this year due to the pricing of how they have priced this game, like Salah is 13 million, and like Anshuman mentioned, like Diaz is 8 million. Like I think there is a conversation to be had like from now. Like it may be a bit knee-jerk, but I think there is a real case for it being like Diaz plus 5 mil being a bit better than Salah at 13 mil. Like I think Salah has been a bit of it, but he's a great player, like one of the best to play the league right now, one of the best in the world. But I think some of the people will go with the no Salah route due to the blank in the 9 for obvious reasons. But for the next week, I am not that sure about Salah captaincy because I don't think Newcastle are that bad of a defense to target. Like I think they have improved a lot. Like Bruno Guimaraes, like if he's available, I think it will be a very tough game for Liverpool.
I mean, just to add to that, I mean, we've seen the impact of Nunes already on Salah. He is playing wide. I mean, there's no denial of the fact that he is wide. And if he continues to play wide and he's creating more chances instead of getting at the end of those chances, I might as well take 2 players who are at the end of those chances, which is Diaz and Darwin, and they probably get more goal involvements. And then Salah, he might in occasional games outscore them, but again, the probability of 2 Liverpool players getting you more points is obviously more higher. And I see there's a genuine case. I think if he blanks in against Newcastle, I think it's a genuine case where you want to sell him. Yes, he was racking up numbers, but again, the value it's basically the amount you're paying for him. You can buy into Liverpool players, and I'm totally up for it.
Just a
I am
question,
sure.
Anshuman. Just a question for you. If Salah had put those 2 chances away, come away with a 15-pointer, would you be saying the same things?
I mean, would I be saying the same thing? No, but he did not. That's the fact. That's the matter of fact. It's like saying that if Salah had scored every game, would you be saying this? But he did not. That's the fact.
But
If
you
you
saw
if
how
you
those chances were, right? Given Salah's
but
caliber, given Salah's quality, he's someone you expect to finish those chances. If he gets those chances in the next couple of weeks, for example, you will back him to put them away, right?
But again, I'm not seeing a Salah in form. Let's just accept the fact that I don't think Salah is at peak form. I think he has deteriorated after AFCON, and he's not yet at those levels where he's finishing off those chances. He's hitting on a lot more shots on target. He's not probably dribbling out there a lot. If you see nuances in games, he's not at his peak level, and I mean everyone will agree to that. He's not at his peak. So that narrative where he's not at his peak, or maybe he is the best player and he's at the peak, goes out of the window because he's not there at the moment.
Just also to add the fact that he hasn't scored the convincing goals, right?
Yeah,
definitely all of his goals have been have involved a bit of luck, right? So I would even agree with Anshuman that he is not someone. I mean, it's okay to not have him in your team
I'm
for the
just saying
next
that
few
it's
weeks.
not, I mean, we can't be, it's for me it's not like, oh, you have to have him. I mean, you assess him next week, you don't sell him right away. And if you still find him very wide, if you don't find him getting into good positions or scoring, ultimately getting you points, I think the better combination for that value is probably Luis Diaz and Darwin Nunes.
Yeah, a
I
lot
am
of
sure Andy Martin will agree with your takes here.
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, even Zeeshan would agree. I think he's got no, he's in the no Salah camp.
I did go no Salah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's like a lot of interesting points, and like, I had the wild card after game week 3, and I wild carded, and I picked 3 premium players, but I did not pick Salah. And I think there's no doubt that Salah is a quality player, right? He has that talent to be in the right place at the right time, accumulate a lot of XG, and eventually, obviously, score. My problem is, I think about the Liverpool system, as Anshuman said, that I've noticed there have been instances where Salah has been asked to just maintain that width on the right side, especially when Nunes was playing. Maybe the next 2 games might be a bit different because Firmino is sort of playing right now. But eventually, if now I'm pretty sure that Nunes will come in because he's a 100 million striker. He's a marquee signing, and when he is playing, he just accumulates all that XG. The way Liverpool play sort of changes. So with that in mind, I went with Diaz. I think it's a reasonable insurance. If I don't have Salah, he scored twice. I think I got really lucky, to be very honest, because Salah had a lot of chances, really good chances. Diaz just 2 shots on target, 2 goals. Wow, jammy, but I'll take that. Next 2 game weeks, I'm a bit worried. But when Nunes comes back, I'm reasonably confident that he could match Salah. I know it's a big call, but that's about I am in. But again, very interesting opinions, and it's definitely something to ponder over. I don't think it's as black and white as it used to be, right? Salah is a must. Uh, yeah, I am in the no Salah camp, of course, but I see the positives and I see why a player of his pedigree, right? It's so hard to move him on. So yeah, that's
I
on.
mean,
Yeah.
if you had like, I think all of us will agree that we're not selling Salah this week if we have him. Yeah.
Yeah,
But let's say he
definitely.
blanks again. Are you considering the fact that you're selling Salah in game week 6 or looking forward
No,
to it?
no.
I mean, by
Until
no,
the
I
wild
mean,
card. He is a luxury transfer. Like you don't sell Salah because you want to. Like for
no,
selling
but he's not
Salah and
performing. Let's
yeah,
accept, let's just put that into context.
so let me put it into you. Like for example, this year, like Salah is 13 million, and the other assets like premium is 12 million. So to spread the Salah money around, you will require at least 2 transfers. So at least that's a hit. So selling Salah, the one of the greatest players, like FPL players of all time, like for a hit before any fixture would be a very risky and a luxury move. And even if you see, like, even if he's like quote unquote not performing so far, he's still in the top 5 point scorers of the league this year in FPL terms, points terms.
I'm
So
I'm not sure if that's correct. I'm not
I'm
sure if that's there,
I think in terms of
but if you had
underlying
to,
data, he's right up
yeah,
there along with KDB. So he's definitely doing that. Like Manan said, I think there has been an element of luck, but again, you can't blame luck because the game is all about that, right? Tapping into variance and making sure that you get lucky, and that's a theme as well. So I don't blame him for that. I've gone no Salah, like I said, but if someone asked me, for advice, like should I sell Salah, I think my answer would be no. I am doing it because I'm responsible for my team, but in general, especially if your rank is good, I think he's a good shield to have because if Salah fails, everyone fails, right? And there are other, ways to gain ground. But I see your argument, Anshuman, and I sort of agree with it also, and I've in a way acted upon it
yeah.
when I played my wild card.
Ju- Just to put it in context, between midfielders itself, he's eighth for points. So we're talking about a premium player who's eighth for points, and most of us, if Mihir, we had 2 transfers, would you do it?
never
I mean, I
until
would
the
do it.
he is
If
for
I'm
the
getting two attacking Liverpool players who are more central and direct in terms of goal threat, I would do it.
There's
So
also
I will
Hmm.
only the only part where I sell Salah is if Liverpool like in the 2020 season like they were really poor. So if they show signs of that, then it will be a case for me to sell Salah or on the wild card if Luis Diaz like turns into this magnificent goal scorer who can score 20 goals a season, then that's the consideration for me to sell Salah. Otherwise, Salah is a firm lock in that team along with Haaland. And speaking of Haaland, let's go into the next topic of our discussion, which is Man City and
Yeah, Mihir's had
Crystal
enough of
Palace.
Salah slander. He cannot take it. He's firmly in the Mo Salah camp. And yeah, I think Haaland is another. He's a hot topic every week these days, isn't he? Like he's just come in. There were so many doubts about him that is Haaland going to start game week 1? Is he going to complete 90 minutes? Is Pep going to rotate him? And he just keeps making a mockery of all those speculations week after week. And we'll review the Palace versus City game, and I think it started off, and everyone was paranoid by halftime. I think everyone will agree. Two quick Palace goals, and in really weird fashion, two shots on targets, two goals. We've been there. Palace historically have been a team that have troubled, Guardiola's Man City in the recent past. But what we saw in the second half was, I support City, so it was beautiful for me, watching that, just yelling and also enjoying the FPL points. I think from an FPL perspective, purely, it was very encouraging if you own Haaland. I think he's justifying that price tag. We're speculating a Salah, whether or not we should keep him. I think at this point, if you look at the number of points that Haaland has scored, as well as his underlying data, he is just right at the top. He's monstrous. He's in the box all the time, not really involved in the build-up play. So that does not really matter to us as FPL managers, right? As long as he's getting the chances, he's going to score. And I think this is all about Haaland at this point at City. Apart from that, I think Gundogan is a good shout. He did not start, of course, but the fact is that when he came on, City looked like a very different side altogether. And him and KDB and Bernardo Silva is another cut price option, because Mahrez was hooked off, and Bernardo was playing that right wing role, and he was just taking on players. Also got on the score sheet himself. I think Bernardo and Gundogan are both reasonable shouts at that price. They could get rotated here and there, but they're really cheap. I think you could take the odd benching if possible. In terms of defense, they've not kept a clean sheets in the past 2 weeks. But again, I'm looking at the underlying data, and Arsenal and City are on another level. So yeah, goals were conceded, two shots on target, two goals. But I won't be worried if you own City defenders, Walker, Cancelo. Just hold firmly. The clean sheets will come. Any thoughts on Manchester City? Do you guys want to add something? Mihir, Anshuman, Rakshit,
Yep.
Manan.
So the main thing is, with all of us know that Haaland, one of the best young strikers in the league, has joined Man City, one of the best attacks in the league. The main thing that's putting most people off captaining him this week is Pep's comments last week. Like, of the main comments, like in the FPL world, Pep is well known for rotating his players, and Haaland is one of the players. Like, during when he signed for Man City, Athletic wrote a great article about it, that Man City gave him that assurances that he will be rotated in some games where it is not necessary, and he won't have to play the most games due to it. So, do you guys think that Haaland is the most need to, like, very likely, if that is a word, to start the Nottingham Forest game? So, what do you think, Anshuman, about it?
I think we on the pod covered this last week, where we did a skim through of how the fixtures in the UCL could be, and how we expect Manchester City to rotate. So we did this where we had the scenario too, where they have tough fixtures, match day 1 and 2, which is the first match day is Sevilla away, the second is Dortmund home, and so the maximum days they have in terms of rest is between game week 4 and 5, which is between Crystal and Nottingham, the 4 days. Between 5 and 6, they have only 3 days. Where I think that is why I think Aston Villa is probably the game where they rest most of the players, and also because they wanted more fresh for the UCL game and the Tottenham game that follows. There are only 4. They have 4 days between the UCL and Tottenham, so that's not a worry. But again, they have 3 days between Tottenham and the match day 3, and then 3 days between match day 2. Sorry, match day 2 and Wolves then again. So I think the two games prominently, which I feel now looking at the fixtures in UCL, is probably Aston Villa and Wolves. If I had to pen down something in terms of rotation, because the days between the games are more or less, and the games which the other games are more priority. I think Tottenham and the UCL fixtures are bigger priority to them.
So, Anshuman, are you captaining Salah or sorry, Haaland in the next week?
So
Game week.
it depends on my team plan. If you look at when you look at my team, you'll understand who I might captain. But it might be something.
Hope it's not Salah.
I think it rhymes something with Kevin De Bruyne, but I don't know. Let's see.
I just have a question for you guys. Talking about City, is Cancelo justifying his price? Do you think, or he can be sold for a Walker? Because even in the match against, even in the last match, he had zero penalty area that he wasn't going too forward. And at 7 million, and we are getting a lot of good options at 4.5, 5.5 price, right?
Yeah.
So does Joao Cancelo justifies his price, and is there a case for to sell him?
Yeah, I think that's a interesting question, and I keep getting a lot of these questions, particularly about Cancelo. So, if you talk about City defense as a whole, there's nothing to worry about. I think they're comfortably the best defense in the league, but he comes with a premium price tag, 7 million. The way we are playing right now, the way City are playing right now, the fullbacks are not really involved in the attack. So I do see the returns drying up. I don't think he really justifies that 7 million price tag. But again, it's a luxury transfer, right? If you don't have any other fires to put out, I think Cancelo to a Walker or maybe even a Diaz. I like Diaz because I feel his minutes are a lot more secure, especially with Laporte out and Ake on the sidelines as things stand. So I think you save 1 million out there. I also have another, like, obviously, City are a great defense. They'll keep clean sheets, but we're looking at teams like Brighton who really offer a lot of value. Arsenal defenders are really cheap and they're doing just as well as Man City, for instance. If someone fancies this, okay, I think a crazy idea of going without a City defender, but putting an extra midfielder, maybe a double up of Bernardo and Gundogan, and Haaland obviously picks himself. So three City attackers, I think, could be a really viable shout and a really nice differential because if you go for Gundogan and Bernardo, you are pretty sure that you're going to get at least one of them to start, and in a lot of games, both of them, because Bernardo could play right wing as well, or even Foden, who's just 8 million. So make your pick, right? I think these cut price City mids are a really nice shout. So yeah, if you want to move on Cancelo, I think it's valid, but I see a lot of value if you want to go three up top. Just go aggressive and get it done. Any other thoughts, guys?
Yeah, so I think there is a lot of recency bias on this pod, lots across topics. I am looking to bring in Cancelo as someone who's not had Cancelo so far. I feel extremely lucky right now. Forget his XGI numbers. I have a different take. So I think as soon as Sergio Gomez, the new City left back, gets into the team, Cancelo will shift to the right, and then we'll see more rotation between, let's say, Gomez and Walker. So when you talk, I saw the Barcelona Man City match, and Cancelo played on the right for a while in that match. I think gave an assist also. He looked so comfortable there. And I think as soon as Cancelo moves to the right back position over the coming game weeks, it could be in some matches he's left back, some matches he's right back. I think could be a great option once again in terms of attacking returns. Also, I mean, City's defensive numbers are elite. And I am someone who's actually looking to bring him in right now. And I consider myself kind of lucky that I've dodged sort of his blanks.
Wow,
So, Rakshit, if I had to recommend you, I mean, I wouldn't jump on Cancel if you have been lucky till now. And I don't say this because of the quality of what quality of player Cancel is, or left, right, however he plays. The problem, what essentially will come to him, is the structure Pep is implementing. He's implementing a inverted pyramid where the fullbacks will be essentially very central. We've been seeing this in the last 4 games, and not wide and coming inside. So he's very central, maybe around where Rodri comes in, he pushes till that line, not wide again. He's not overlapping or cutting inside a lot. Last season, he was overlapping, cutting inside, making those runs and crosses, probably even taking shots. Even if you look at the corner specifically, he's standing outside the box, maybe at the edge at times, but majorly outside the box. So, do you want to spend 7 million? Yes, the defense is great. So you can go for the cheaper players. Maybe Diaz is 1 million cheaper. You can go for the other alternative. Stones, if he's continuing to playing, is a decent option. He got away with the bonus last game as well. But again, the problem with Cancelo to me is that he's not in the same system like he was last year, which is the problem in my opinion. If the system changes, obviously he's a better player and he can obviously put in more crosses, get us goals as well. But the system is what is stopping him from going ahead. And I think the system will persist to continue as Pep seems very convinced with the system himself.
Well, I think it's a bit early to jump on conclusions based on the 3 game week sample data. Like we
Exactly.
cannot decide based on 3 game weeks that Cancelo won't be a great fantasy asset. Like I think it's better to trust a 38 game week sample size right now of last year than the 3 game week sample size of this year, because last year on the 3 game week sample size we had Said Benrahma being like the second coming was he was the second coming of Messi during the first 3 game weeks of last year, and Rodrigo this year. So I wouldn't judge much on the Cancelo thing, but I would keep it on the back of my mind because Walker is 2 million cheaper, and if the centre back injury, like I haven't heard the Ake news yet, like when
Yeah.
he is back or when. So till then, John Stones 5.5 and Diaz 6.0 will be 100% nailed. So I would maybe think about that when I need to, like many people on Twitter are right now burning transfers. So whenever I am in the situation of burning a transfer, then maybe I will think about that or switching Cancelo to a Diaz or a Stones. But till then, I think it's a firm hold or like don't sell type of player.
I
Yeah,
have a question for you, Z. You being the City fan.
yeah.
So, I mean, when do you see Sergio Gomez getting into the City team? I mean, how safe is owning Walker, for example, right now?
I think it's reasonably safe, and the fact that he's 2 million cheaper means you can take the odd benching. We've seen with Guardiola in the past, right? Players take time to sort of get used to his. Obviously, Gomez is a Spanish. He's got the Spanish DNA, so you don't know how his camaraderie would be. Maybe he gets along really well with Pep. He understands what he's trying to get out of him. But I think Walker is reasonably safe. But my bigger concern is, what Anshuman said. It's not about Cancelo's versatility is a great bonus. It's the system that Pep is playing this year, and is the arrival of Haaland. Sample size is fine, 38 game sample size, great, just 3 games. But I think you need to be a bit more open-minded when it comes to change in systems, because last year there was no Haaland, so City were really fluid, and it gave Cancelo the license to bomb forward and be in a lot more advanced positions. And we saw it, right? At times switching Bernardo. Sometimes he was in the striker position. This year, that's not the case. This year, City have a focal point. As long as Haaland is playing, which is like 90% of times, right? As long as he's playing that, the system should be in place. And it does not really bode well for Cancelo. I think it makes players like Gundogan and Bernardo better options. So yeah, if you want to hold firmly, I think it's a fair shout. He's got the quality. He could pop up with the returns at any point, but I don't see this current system benefiting Cancelo and justifying that 7 million premium price tag. I hope I'm wrong because I love Cancelo, of course. Any other thoughts? Yeah, I think we've sort of covered a lot of City and Cancelo, in detail. Last but not the least, there's another team from Manchester who finally sort of got those three
I mean,
points.
Z. Before we move to the red part of Manchester, we just I think we have just a couple of things on
Yeah,
Manchester City left. I think before we go ahead, we have curated a predicted lineup for Nottingham Forest, and we'll put that up. Basically, we've taken everyone's consensus here or what they think the 11 could be against Nottingham Forest, and we've brought that up. If you can see it on your screen. So we have Ederson in goal. Obviously, most of us think Ederson will start, so that's 100%. We think Cancelo is nailed on. He'll start. Stones, everyone thinks he'll start. Diaz, everyone thinks he'll start. Walker, there's some changes. I think there's 70% chances of him starting. Some people do think that Walker won't start. I think Rodri, De Bruyne, and Gundogan are nailed. Gundogan, I think, is the better one in terms of buying a City midfielder. If you had to buy someone, my personal opinion would be Gundogan and not Foden or Silva, due to his rest last game week. I think that is why he's more nailed for this one and the Villa game. I think most of us agree on that.
Yeah.
yeah. I think Gundo is because he's obviously at the rest. I think he's very nailed, at least for the NFO game. Yeah.
Yeah, especially for the NFO game. I think if you're buying someone in the City midfielder, I think Silva is great too. He was looking very good last game, but again, Villa could be in potential to benching for him. And up top we have Foden, Haaland, and Silva in our opinion. So again, this is just a predicted lineup from our side. It's not like something we're ITK for City. We just terms of fans trying to predict the Nottingham Forest lineup and take it with a pinch of salt because we could be completely wrong. And like Z said, Diaz is most nailed, but again, last game we saw him on the bench, and that's totally possible in when you play against Pep.
Definitely, yeah. Predicting the Pep Rowlet, always a dangerous game, but we've given it our best shot. And
Yeah.
like we were moving on, right? A lot of talk about the blue side of Manchester, but let's talk about the red side. Manchester United, 3 points in the bank. Mihir, what were your thoughts on the United game against Southampton?
So first thing first, really happy that we got the 3 points because we were not that great in the game. Also on the whipping boys topic, I was going to add our name to the list, but recently after the signing of Martinez and Casemiro, I think we will be fine now. So I think from the United point of view, it's still a wait and watch for most assets. The Leicester game is a great game for if you want a 1 week punt, I can get the attraction of that game. But I would stay clear right now because there is a lot of uncertainty right now on who will start. Like today, we have been hearing reports that we are going to sign, like close to signing Anthony from Ajax, who is 100 million. Like he is a bit overpriced. Let's not get into it. Like it's not a transfer video, but he will get into the positions now, and it will be a competition on the winger spots. And the goals was getting from Bruno. Like it was a magnificent finish, but he's at that awkward price point where he's neither a premium nor a mid-priced asset. So it is very hard to get to him. I would love for him to be an option as I love him as a player personally, but it's a wait and watch. The only player I would consider from United is Diogo Dalot from on the right back spot. Like he was a lot advanced in the game and was putting in a lot of great crosses and really caught the eye test. But as I said before, our defense has been suspect this year a lot, and that was our first clean sheet. So it's still a bit of a wait and watch, but we are getting there. Slowly and steadily, we are getting there.
Wow, you sound really happy, Mihir. He's very delighted. Mihir, what are your thoughts on Anthony? Like, not from a football perspective, obviously, from an FPL perspective, and what is your price prediction for him?
I think he will be 7 million. The same,
Wow.
the middle price as Rashford and Sancho. Between them, I think he will be 7 million due to the price tag mostly.
Cheaper than Sancho. Cheaper than Sancho.
Yeah, like Sancho had a Bundesliga pedigree before joining us. Anthony doesn't have that yet.
Wow, that's
You hit the like button and you get to know. I think I was on mute. I think. Sorry. So yeah, on that we were talking about
that's
how.
great. Yeah, sorry, United fans,
Yeah.
if you're watching it and we had to cut it off. But yeah, I think 7 million. I'm not sure 7 million would be his price because he's a new toy. What does everyone think? Let's start. Okay, Manan, tell us what is your price prediction for Anthony?
I think he will be 7.5.
Okay.
I think he won't be more cheaper than that. I think 7.5 is an ideal price.
Yeah, Rakshit, let's just take a call from everyone. Anthony, price. You're on mute, Rakshit.
I agree word to word with what he said about everything. From Anthony's price to Dalo being the only viable United asset, to basically waiting and watching on United. So there's nothing more to add from my end.
Any price prediction on Anthony? We're just doing like a minute.
Yeah,
Let's see.
7 million.
7. Okay. Anshuman, 7 million for you as well.
I mean, we've got news from Fabrizio. It's here we go, Anthony to United, and I think 7 million, maybe 8, maybe 8. I think 8 could be a viable thing. They might want to, given the high transfer fee he has, FPL might want to capture that and give him an 8 million price tag.
Yeah, I think similar thoughts. I'm looking at probably 8 million because he's a new shiny toy. There's so many United fans out there, right? So one
Well,
go and everyone will be after him.
Well, just to interrupt, Z, I would like to say that if you are watching the stream till now and are enjoying it, do hit the like button and the subscribe button. Like it's our first ever stream, so apology if we are making any mistakes. Like we will surely improve from them. So do put your feedback in the comments and make sure to like and subscribe the stream as well, as it helps us a lot.
Yeah, and
does.
also if you're from India, you know that India has won the game against Pakistan.
Yeah.
So yeah, do
Big reason.
at least for that reason, give us a like, and yeah, do consider subscribing to the channel. We will be doing more short content and live streams, so you hit the bell. Make sure you hit the bell icon as well, so that you will be notified whenever you go live.
Yeah. I think fancy plugs, but at the same time, just keep dropping your questions, and we'll cover the Q&A before we move to the best part. Answering your questions. We're gonna look at our teams and sort of preview game week 5. Uh, Give us an idea of what we are thinking for our teams as well. So yeah, we'll let's start with Anshuman.
Z,
Anshuman.
just before we move ahead in terms of Game Week 5, do you want to add anything in terms of the fixtures from Game Week 4? I think Southampton United we've already covered. Brentford, Everton, anyone? Do you want to add anything there?
No,
I
as
think
in,
Tony.
as an Ivan Tony owner, I'm not coming off. Fixtures are looking great, and if you're looking at, don't be influenced by the previous game. He looked very good, and I would continue to hold, and even would suggest a buy from a Tony
Okay,
perspective.
okay, okay. So no, none of us are Tony owners here. For everyone who is a Tony owner in the chat, so that's the piece of advice we want to present.
Manan, you own Tony as well,
Yeah,
right?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very confident on him, and I'm holding him. I just brought him this week, so yeah.
Again, Brighton Leeds. I saw that game because I was a Rodrigo owner. He did have 5 shots, 3 shots inside the box. He was all over the place. Leeds were, as expected, Leeds couldn't go through the Brighton defense. Yes, the Brighton defense looks very much solid this season, much more solid than last year, I think. And the new addition to the defense, which is Parvin, I think he's very good. If you're buying a 4.5 million defender from Brighton right now, I don't think you should go Dunk or Weltman. He had an XG of 0.8, 3 shots inside the box. I think you should probably go there. He created 2 chances as well. So Parvin,
Burden, sorry.
yeah, Parvin is probably the Brighton new guy. If you want to downgrade, if you're downgrading Walker or someone like whoever you're downgrading, maybe a Cancel or a Zinchenko, if you want to sell someone, Dine, Cash, all of them, I think Parvin from Brighton is a good inclusion to your squad. And again, Leeds, if you had Rodrigo, don't be harsh. We expected this to happen. Brighton are defensively solid, and probably next game week Leeds will be back again.
Word
Yeah,
on Pascal Gross. I've not been the biggest fan, don't own him. But saw the extended highlights. He was everywhere. He was threading through balls for the runners. He was making late runs into the box. He obviously scored as well. Webster almost scored from his free kick. And Pascal Gross had a monster game. And us non-owners basically were lucky that he only came away with a goal because he was absolutely fantastic, I felt.
Yeah. A lot of good shots, but no love for Sanchez. I'm surprised. I got Sanchez
Yeah,
this week.
a lot of people have this question.
Thoroughly.
So, thanks for reminding me. A lot of people are now considering the fact that Ramsdale could be sold to a Sanchez because he's not getting those big hauls in terms of no bonus because no saves and
Yeah.
almost zero ball retention in terms of passes as well. So, do you think it's a vibe? If you have to burn a transfer, would you go Ramsdale to a Sanchez this week?
Definitely. Yeah, I think he's great. This last game versus Leeds, for example, he did not get any save point, but he still got 2 bonus points. So he's good with his feet. Brighton are not as high scoring as Arsenal, so I think this is just a replica of what Ramsdale was at the start of last season. Arsenal were just trying to get there. They were getting those 1-0 sort of results, and Ramsdale was just racking up the bonus points. I think Sanchez is doing that this year. And Ramsdale is the one who has sort of suffered because Arsenal are a lot more attacking now. They're free scoring. So if they win, guys like Jesus and Odegaard and Martinelli are just more involved in terms of BPS. So Ramsdale, definite non-option. I think it's an easy downgrade, definitely. He's 4.6 now. You save zero point 0.4 million and invest it elsewhere in your team for sure.
Well, another thing why Ramsdale is a bad option according to most people right now is also because of the emergence of a 4.5 centre back from Arsenal who is scoring or assisting every game. Saliba, what a transfer.
You love Saliba, don't you, Mihir?
Mbappe of CBs.
That was a visionary assist for Gabriel.
Yeah.
World class. Kevin De Bruyne-esque.
His creative numbers are through the roof. But yeah, Mihir loves him. Oh, I had again, from Saliba again, great option. I think Gabriel is another great option. Last year he scored a lot of goals. I'm very comfortable. I've bought him on my wild card. I think he's a great shot. So yeah, the fact that there are a lot of other Arsenal toys that you can potentially own, and Sanchez easy. Like to answer Anshuman's question and the very popular question in the community, it's an easy downgrade. Guess Sanchez before he goes further up in price.
Okay, so I think everyone agrees on that. Or is someone having a different opinion? I think Ramsdale to Sanchez is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Okay, and we discussed Leicester, Liverpool, Man City in an extent. I think Arsenal, we don't have anything to discuss. I think still Jesus Martinelli, probably one of the defenders, is the way to go about them. There's nothing changing in there. Villa, we discussed. They're not cool. West Ham have been very poor. Again, Tottenham, Nottingham Forest. We haven't spoken in depth, but I think Nottingham, yes, they look like the whipping boys this season. Again, they've been conceding chances left, right, down, and they're very poor on counter, especially. Tottenham, I
Well,
think.
well, I think Nottingham Forest actually were good in their build-up play today, and they
Yeah,
gave Spurs a bit of problem, but the end product wasn't there. Like I think it will come because they have signed about 50 new
60,
players.
16 players now.
Yep,
Yeah.
16 new players this season, so the chemistry will be a problem. But I think they will eventually get there because there is quality there. Like we saw today, their build-up play was great, and Spurs were on the back foot at times, but they got through. So I think Forest are a team in transition and a team to look for in a few weeks. So
Got
also I think we have now reviewed almost all the teams. So let's get into the preview part.
Yeah. Before we go to that, like, oh, I think Forest are a good team. I'm not sure about their quality. I think they are a brave team, and the coach wants them to attack. You look at their, I think, defensive numbers we've covered. They're like right up there. I think they're the worst side in the league. I'm not sure about that, Mihir. I hope I'm wrong because I know some NFO fans and they're really sweet. But I'm not sure that's enough to keep them up. I think they're a relegation shout. Sorry if any Nottingham Forest fan has tuned in, and that's one of the reasons why I captained Kane this week. Because Henderson was sort of keeping them in it. They had only conceded 3 goals, but we looked at their underlying XGC and it was 5.9. So I saw the signs, and Kane sort of benefited from that. The fact that they are very brave and they try to attack teams at home. We sort of I sort of covered this earlier. It bodes well for the opponent, especially if there's a quality striker like Kane or Haaland. I think they are firmly. I look at them as whipping boys. Mir, I don't agree with you at all. But yeah,
I
I hope you are right and I'm wrong because yeah, they
I think just give them the credit. I think I was going to add that as well. Tottenham were poor. I think I would just sum it up in one line. I don't think they were very good in terms of
Well,
attack or
I
defense.
also
What's
didn't
happening to
say
Son,
that.
by the way? What's happening to Son? It was woeful today. Didn't
Yeah,
pass, looked to
terrible
score. I wouldn't be
performance.
surprised if he's benched next
yeah,
game. In fact,
Richarlison is knocking
I
on the
think
door,
expecting
right?
him to be benched.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
I don't think
Also,
he's going to be benched because of his performance, but I think it's just a routine rest for him. I think.
also
I think
just
Richarlison
before.
came on, gave a very fancy assist, and
Yeah,
Kulusevski's playing better. I think
Hmm.
on performance basis itself, I think he should be dropped.
I
Also,
agree with Rakshit. Yeah.
I
also,
don't agree.
also, just before we move on, I didn't say that Forest and the whipping boys. I said that attack is good. So I think it got lost in translation. But yeah, let's move on.
I think we are.
Are you comfortable buying a Nottingham
Gabriel
forward,
Jesus, who
Mihir,
is a top six
to
attacker.
buy one of them?
No, because we can buy Martinelli for 6 million, who is the same price as the relegation
Right. So I think
fodder
I think we're all
assets.
hoping that they continue to be brave and bless us with more FPL points, so we could rack up on the teams playing against them. So yeah, again, sorry, Nottingham Forest fans, if you're listening to this, but let's move on to our next segment where we will preview our Game Week 5 teams, and we'll start with Anshuman. Anshuman, what are your plans for Game Week 5?
I think this is my team. If you guys can see it, I'll read it for our listeners. Ramsdale, Trent, Walker, Cancelo, James, Kulusevski, Rodrigo, Martinelli, Salah, Jesus, and Haaland. So I have 2 free transfers, as you know, and I'm planning to get Kulusevski out for a Gundogan for sure. For that, I'll have to downgrade either Walker or a Cancelo, and I have to make a decision. Do I take a hit if I do Cancelo to Trippier, and I can do Andreas to Gross, and then I can bench Trippier this week and have a decent playing 11, and then I can play Trippier whenever I want. I think I want Trippier. Even if I don't take a hit, I think I still go Walker to Trippier because I think the fixture run he has beyond Game Week 5 after the Liverpool game is too good. I think he'll be doing very well in those games. So that's the only thought in my head. I'm not going anywhere else.
Yeah,
But I'm firmly considering selling Cancelo. I think I need to take out funds, and this is the perfect opportunity.
that's a fair shout. What about you, Manan? What are your plans?
So for the listeners, I have Sanchez in goal, Trent, James, Walker, Zinchenko in my defense, Gundogan, Salah, Martinelli in my midfield, and Tony, Jesus, Haaland. And Haaland is currently my captain. So I have 1.2 in the bank and just one free transfer. I'll just monitor Zinchenko. If it's anything serious, then I'll just ship him out, or maybe I can downgrade him to the Saliba option. But currently, I'm thinking of rolling if Zinchenko is fit.
Thanks for that, Manan.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Mihir. Your game week 5 preview.
So my main Gameweek 5 worry is the Chelsea defense. Like last week, I doubled up on the Cucurella James. Like I had James before, and I bought Cucurella from that. So I think it's a worry with how Mendy has been keeping in the previous few games. Like he doesn't fill me with confidence as a double defense owner. Like I think he's fine for a single defense, but I am not very confident with a double defense. And I made the choice of going him over Perisic, which I regret deeply now. So I think I will be rectifying it this week. The other route I can go is Kulusevski to Gundogan. I am not sure yet though.
Yeah, I think that's a fair dilemma because Kulu has been doing very well. Rakshit, what about you?
Yeah, so Mihir just said it. Uh, I have only Haaland from the City game. He might be benched. I don't know, but I'm uncomfortable going into the Nottingham Forest at home match with only one City player who might be benched. So I'm looking to get in City. I'll see how to go about it. Currently, my mind is on Kulusevski to Gundogan, although a wild punt on our midweek specialist Riyad Mahrez is still on the cards. And if I have two free transfers, and if I'm really feeling really feeling transfery, then probably Tony to Julian Alvarez as well.
I mean, I think Mihir and I are firm believers that you don't need to buy Mahrez, and you shouldn't buy Mahrez in your FPL teams.
So
It
Anshuman,
never
according to
goes well.
you, I should not buy Cancelo. I should sell Salah. I should not get Mahrez. Basically,
No, I mean
my
you can go
whole team
Cancelo, but Mahrez
basically.
is a different pedigree in terms of dodging FPL points, dude.
Well,
Any game week
Ma-
you expect him to
Mahrez
start
has
or
given me 30-point returns as captain in the past. So it's just about when you get it right with him.
well, I think Mahrez is a great pick, but I don't rate that part manager of his to play him every game.
yeah.
Yeah, of course, to be like a 1 week punt.
Lottery.
It never works for me. The 1 week, the 1 month, the 1 year punts never work for me with Mahrez.
Yeah, I think that Rakshit has created a lot of controversy, but who are we to tell him? He's the man with he's top 4K right now over. So yeah, the man
Yeah,
with the Midas touch. He's flying, and you never know. Get in Mahrez. Good
get
luck
in
with
Cancelo probably. Yeah, so that
I wish.
you get
you
less
get,
attacking
he, yeah,
returns.
he gets Cancelo, and then Cancelo is getting points after points, right? It's just
Yeah.
that kind of season for him so far, and hopefully it continues for long. Yeah. Lastly, we're looking at my team, and I just wildcarded this week. Fairly happy, got 82 points. Should have been a closer to 100 because Kane missed a penalty. Got minus points for that. Should have been a hat trick. I've got Perisic who won the penalty, so like it was a big loss, but I can't complain. 82 points, decent green arrow. I think I'm rolling the transfer. I don't see any immediate red flags in the team. I'm happy with the structure, happy with premium, comfortable not owning Salah. Famous last words. We don't know what's going to happen, but that's the case now. Zinchenko, like Manan said, that is a surprise. Injury news. So we'll assess. Let's see what Arteta says. If he says he's out, I could probably downgrade him to a Saliba. But yeah, or maybe I'll just play Andreas. I'm 90% sure I'm going to roll my transfer. And yeah, I think that's about it. We've covered our game week 5 previews, and last but not the least, the really exciting part that we did last week as well, right? The exclusive FPL variants powered by Fantasypedia, the multiverse of differentials, where each of us pick a player under 10% ownership. To help you, of course, if you're looking, for a differential, and it's also sort of a mini contest between us where we track these players. So if any of our player gets a return, could be a clean sheet, could be a goal, could be an assist. The each of us we get like 5 points, and if they blank, we get nothing. So, Manan, who was your pick last week?
My last week pick was, I think, Gundogan. He got an assist
And he got a
after coming
return.
off the bench. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're up there with me because I picked Robertson, and he got an assist, got hooked off early, banked the clean sheet as well. I think the one who did not get the 5 points was Anshuman.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
who was your pick? Was it
I
Danny
think
Welbeck?
I think I picked Danny Welbeck. Yeah.
Not a great start, but yeah, long season to go. So we're gonna get into the thick of things once again. I'll start this time. Uh, my pick for this week, as a multiverse of differential, would be Gundogan. we've spoken highly about it. Almost feels like I'm cheating, but he's still 10%, less than 10% ownership. I can't believe it. Uh, I expect him to start versus NFO and sort of get something out of the game. Maybe a goal, maybe an assist. That's my pick. What about you, Rakshit?
Yeah, gonna go slightly left field. I'm gonna pick Eberici Eze against Brentford. I think he's looked so good this season. Palace have not had the best fixtures so far, and even against the tougher sides, he's been brilliant. And in the last match, he was exceptional. So Eze against Brentford, whose defense away from home hasn't been the greatest. I think I'll back him to get at least one attacking return.
Yeah, that's a great shout. What about you, Mihir?
Well, I think most of us are going to pick the same guy as you, Z Gundogan, but I don't think I am as sure. But I think he's the best under 10% guy. Like,
Uh, Mihir, you can't pick the same person, same
oh,
player. You have to, yeah.
I wasn't there last time, so I didn't know it.
Yes, Mihir
So
is in for the first time. We're getting him prepared for the future. Yeah, you have to pick another player under 10% ownership.
give me a second. Someone else can do it for this.
Yeah. We'll check with Manan. Manan, give us a ownership differential pick.
Yeah, so I'll go for Anthony Gordon just for this week because Everton are not a good hold currently. They don't have that good fixtures, but I'm gonna go with Anthony Gordon just because of what he did in game week. In game week 4, he had 4 shots on target, 5 shots, and I mean, he had 5 total shots, 4 shots on target. I think he was almost he had the second most. He was second highest average position among Everton players. I think he can do really well, and Leeds do concede goals. So I fancy Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. Tapping into variance and hoping it pays off. Anshuman, what about you?
One question to Manan. Gordon playing for Chelsea or Gordon playing for Everton?
100 million Gordon.
Playing for Everton, currently playing for Everton.
Let's see.
I even if he switches, he's just 1.5% known. So I won't mind Chelsea Gordon also, right?
Yes, Anshuman.
Yeah, I was saying that I'll go for the City counterpart. I think I'll go for Bernardo Silva. He's about 6% known, and I think he will start and he could be involved in things.
I think we're all going for great shouts. Mihir, last but not the least.
So I think I will have to back my team, and for the 1 week punt, I will go for Marcus Rashford. I think the Leicester defense is pretty poor and is worth targeting. So I think Rashford, if he plays on the left side, could have a potential haul in him.
Yeah, it's a great shout, and I hope you're right because I own Rashford in my team as well. So yeah, uh, touch wood, Mihir. Yeah, that's a great shout. That brings us to an end of our segment. If you've enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon, and it's not over yet. We will now be taking your questions in the live chat. Anshuman, uh, do we have questions from the community that we can cover?
Yeah, we have a couple of questions. So the first question I can see on my screen is thoughts on Salah to Kevin De Bruyne this week for captaincy, and then back to Salah.
Wow, that's. I think my answer would be biased because I've dropped Salah and I've got De Bruyne. Me, Rakshit, Manan. Like, what?
I would not do it. I would only do that if I was on a wild card like G was on selling Salah for KDB, because that sell needs to cover a 4 point difference which you get from a transfer. Like, I personally view every transfer as 4 points. So I think it's not worth the hokey cokey to do the Salah KDB Salah thing, because I don't think it's far fetched that Salah scores a goal against Newcastle and gets a 11 pointer. And like it happened this week or the week before, KDB can dodge returns or hauls. Like, I think Haaland is the main City asset to own.
Wow.
Yeah, I would agree completely. I'd hold Salah. I wouldn't switch to a KDB.
I wouldn't do it for captaincy either. But because you know that Salah is nailed and Kevin De Bruyne, I mean, we predict him to start. You never know with Pep if he
Yep.
thinks it's not a good game to play him and he doesn't need him, and they can do it without Kevin De Bruyne, he'll rest him. So I wouldn't do it just for the sake of captaincy.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with Anshuman. I think
yeah.
won't be surprised if we're talking about Haaland, but if De Bruyne is randomly benched by Pep, Pep is very random. So if De Bruyne is randomly benched, then you'll be very, very disappointed.
Yeah,
with
you'll
that
be in
move.
trouble
And
because you lose points not only for Salah, whatever Salah scores, but also the fact that your captain is not playing.
also, I think, obviously, as Mihir said, De Bruyne can dodge points sometimes. So let's say if City are 3-0 up, 60 minutes, they have another fixture coming after 3 days, so he might be taken off early.
Yeah, totally, that's a possibility. Okay, next question we have from Kushagra says thoughts on Kulusevski plus White to a Leeds midfielder plus Diaz for a 2 free transfers. What says he? How do you go about it? Would you do it?
So
Kulusevski plus White
mm,
to a let's say a Rodrigo plus Diaz.
yeah, I think I would. I think Diaz is great value, right? 8.1, I think right now.
No,
And
he means the City defender. He means the City defender Diaz, not Luis Diaz, Ruben Diaz.
okay, I think I'll hold because purely because of Kulusevski, right? And the fact that initially, Richarlison was being looked at someone who's a danger to Kulusevski's play. I think Kulusevski is fairly nailed right now. I like his next two fixtures, so it's a no for me.
I would also agree with G and disagree on the transfers part because I don't think keeping White and who was the other person? I forgot.
Kulusevski.
White and Kulusevski is not that bad because Arsenal this week faced Aston Villa, if I am not mistaken. And I don't think it's that bad of a fixture for a clean sheet or a big Arsenal win because Aston Villa haven't been that great this year. And Kulusevski and Spurs have also been great this year. And West Ham also, just like Aston Villa, haven't hit the ground running this year. So I don't think this is a priority move, but if there are no other things, no other transfers in your team, then maybe I would consider it as an aggressive play.
Okay, next up we have Hemant asking for team advice. He says he sent in his team with Sanchez, Trent, Cancelo, Dunk, Salah, De Bruyne, Diaz, Martinelli, Jesus, Tony, with the default bench and 2 free transfers. Should he make any changes or just burn one of his transfers?
That's a long question.
Yeah.
I
think
mean, I'll just read it because it's in front of me. I think you should just burn one of it.
I
I don't see anywhere you can.
I
If you
think
can, wait.
yeah. If I can, yeah.
Yeah,
I think he doesn't have Haaland, right? I think you didn't say Haaland.
yeah, he doesn't have Allen.
So I think what do you guys think about KDP to a Haaland switch for 2 free transfers?
I mean, I think Haaland is a must one, and it's a bit of a tricky territory, right? If you sort of take the funds out of KDB and get Haaland, but what if
He's
Haaland gets
benched.
booked off early this week and
What if he's
KDB?
benched? Yeah, this week.
Yeah. I think it's we're playing with fire. So if you've got KDB, just hold on to him. I might even slap the armband on him. So going back to another question that we took about switching Salah to KDB, not advisable, but I think KDB is a really good shout this week. And yeah, just keeping not this week. Just if you've not had Haaland so far, just hold on for another week. Get him eventually. It's NFO at home. Keep KDB.
But I think if you had to get Haaland, this is probably the game week you punt on him, and even if it goes against you, you making the move for a free transfer, and you take the risk because it's after all it's Nottingham Forest, and
Right.
most of us are also have agreed that we are expecting him to get benched against Villa or reduce minutes against Nottingham, and then a cameo against Villa. So probably if there is a game that could suit him most, could be the Nottingham Forest game.
My only worry is that we saw against Bournemouth at home, right? It was a good game on paper, but there could be these games where City are 4-0 up at halftime, where we're absolutely dominating the opponent. And what if Pep hooks him off at 60 and he's just got one odd
I mean,
return?
I totally expect that to happen with him. Irrespective of 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, I think that's going to happen.
Well,
But
that's
you're
a
taking
risk
the
with
chance.
every City
Yeah,
asset.
Yeah.
you're taking the chance, and if you're captaining, especially if you want to get in Haaland and captain him, I think I would do it. If not, the other burn I would do is a dunk to a Parvis. Sorry if I was Pervis, or they say it. I think
Estupinian.
Estupinian, yes, I would do it. I would do it for sure if you had to burn a transfer. Okay, next up, who would you prioritize, Rodrigo or a City defender?
City defender.
Definitely.
Cancelo.
Cancelo.
City
Well,
defense, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Shivam Singh has sent in a chat saying, should I sell any one of Kane, Haaland, Salah or Jesus to get Trent for a hit? Considering
No.
UCL is also coming up.
No.
Well, I would consider other options in your team if you can get Trent from other ways, because I wouldn't sell any of the above players for Trent. But if there are any other options, I would get Trent, because Trent, as we know, is also another consistent asset. Like, he also gave another 17 pointer this week, and we know his potential. Like, has been the highest assist getter, the highest goal scoring defender. I think, not sure about that stat, but he is a very reliable FPL asset, and he's shown it again this week by scoring the 17 pointer. So the potential is there, but I wouldn't sell any of those assets for Trent. I would get another way.
Yeah, I think the question could be down to the fact that he probably needs funds from somewhere,
Yeah,
right? That
if
would be a
if
question.
you had to take out funds from one of these players, which is Kane, I think it was Kane, Haaland, Salah, or Jesus, who would you take out funds from?
No, none of them. If you've got all of them, just keep them, buddy. Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
think
a
Trent is
tricky
good,
question.
but there is so much value in defense this year that we've already seen. Yeah, I think just hold on to them. It's fine. That would be my thought.
If there's value in defense, you want Trent, so you need
You
to
want
sell
the
one
best
of them.
defender.
Yeah.
That's but the fact that we're looking at a team like Brighton who have cut price defensive options, you've got cheaper defenders from City and Arsenal. So if I'm looking at Ford and even Perisic, who's reasonably cheaper, so I don't think he's a must. Like, with all due respect, he's been a great asset, but with the pricing structure this year, uh, I mean, if you own him, good enough. But I think you can do without him, and especially at the cost of sacrificing those players with the upcoming fixtures, I think it's a strict no.
It's a big take, dude.
Just a question. Do you have Trent in your team?
No, I don't. Yeah, so
I
you know,
got
That's just bias
putting
picking up,
money,
I think.
putting money where my mouth is, right? Let's see if it comes back to burn me. But
like this week.
the next couple of weeks will be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how was
Probably,
this week for you then?
Yeah, I'd probably hold this team and wildcard next week or something to get Trent in.
Okay.
He's that good.
Yeah, we
Trent
have.
is-
Yeah,
Trent is 7.5 mil and is considered gets 190 to 200 points every year. Most
Yeah.
people, I think, here would pay 8.5 mil to get him in their team.
Definitely,
Yeah.
but
definitely.
are you not? Are you ignoring relative value because you're looking at solid Saliba, for example, who plays 38 games,
I have
4.5.
them both.
Yeah, gets you 160
but
points.
that's the question. You have 5 defender slots. Do you want to? Is
You
this
have
the
3
only defender
strikers
slot
and 5
to
defenders.
like slaughter or sacrifice? Because I think you can make a switch for the other slots you have and get in a 4.5 defender.
The sacrifices in strikers too. Tony or
Yeah.
Mitrovic get 150 points and Kane gets 200. So do we drop Kane for Tony?
Would you captain Tony? The answer is no. Would you captain Kane in some of the weeks?
Would
The
you
answer is
captain
yes.
Trent? Yes.
Would you captain?
Trent.
Would you captain?
Trent
Trent.
Alexander.
No way, no way, no. I mean, I've captained him in the past. As ironic as it might sound, the game week where I got a fantasy prize, I had Trent captain against Arsenal at home. But
Let's just agree to disagree on this topic
You
and
don't
move
you
on to
don't
the
ditch,
next.
yeah, you don't ditch your lucky charm. Anyways, moving next question.
Moving on. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the last team question we're taking up, and this is by Dexter. Thoughts on the strategy? Say free transfer this week, Kane to Mitrovic or Tony, and Walker to Trippier next week. And there is Colback to Diaz / Kulusevski, Perisic to James, and then wildcard in the international break, rank under 3K, rank under 100K, 3 premium team. I think that's a very complex question. I think it's best I answer this up.
Yeah. Please.
I think Kane to Mitrovic, I wouldn't do it. Kane to Tony, I would hold. Walker to Trippier, I would. I think it's a strong consideration that you should make that move. Perisic to James is something very subjective. I think if Perisic, he looked good this game as well. I think he could have an assist. Kane missed the penalty. It's the first penalty that Kane has missed since 2018. So Perisic was good. I think holding Perisic is fine. There will be a benching probably this week. I think I don't know how the panel thinks about it, but I think personally he could be benched this game week. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that we can rely on Paul O'Keefe, P. O'Keefe on Twitter. Like, he predicts Conte and he has been getting it 11 by 11 so far this year. And he posts his teams before deadline. So I think he's a reliable bet to check on and then make your decisions based on his predictions. Like, he's not a ITK, but he has been pretty good so far.
I mean, he's a correspondent. I think he's a
He's a Spurs correspondent.
Yeah.
So he is reliable, but he is not like, he doesn't provide the. It's up to you, like how much you trust him.
I think he starts. I think he starts because he's, as we saw in the last match, he got an assist with a header, and West Ham have a lot of height, And I think Conte would want to get a lot of tall players in. So Perisic, anyways, is an upgrade on Sessegnon, as we know. So I think he'll start just for his height factor, I think, in this match.
That's very interesting take in terms of starting Perisic.
I think I
Also,
agree with Rakshit that Perisic does. Also, the little cameo that Sessegnon had today, he was not. I mean, he was quite bad. I thought there was a chance where he could have played Kane through, but he just delayed that pass. The fact that Perisic was hooked off early, I think that bodes well for his minutes. I see him starting the next game week as well.
Also, just before we move on to the next YouTube question, I just wanted to plug a few Twitter questions which were commented below if you are moving on from this topic.
Sure, Mihir, sure.
Yeah, sure. We
So,
can move on.
so the first question was from Harsh Sharma that he asked, what are the alternative options for Salah, which were discussed? Like most of you discussed Salah is like Anshuman and G said that Salah is not that essential. So he asked that what are the alternative options to Salah in one move?
If I had one move, I would do Salah to Diaz, and then eventually the next move I would get in Darwin.
Yeah, pretty much similar. If he already has Diaz, because the fact that I'm very high on KDB, he's got NFO at home this year. I think it's a reasonable punt. Salah to De Bruyne, I'm okay with that.
The
Next,
next question was from Karan, Inglorious FPL. He asked if Gundogan is worth getting for a hit or wait it out now that the roulette is full flow and with the midweek fixture, considering that City have a lot of games midweek weekend now. I think it's not worth for a hit, but I think it's worth for a free transfer, but not worth the risk for a hit. What do you guys think?
I think I would agree as well. For a hit, I wouldn't take a chance because of the pep roulette. It's too risky to take a hit for a player you don't know who's guaranteed to start. Yes, there is a high chance of him starting, but not guaranteed.
Yeah, I
wouldn't
think
take a
I'd
hit.
probably agree with both.
If
Yeah,
I had the
same
funds,
same boat.
I'd go somewhere like who's more nailed. Something in terms of Diaz, I think he's more nailed, but I wouldn't take a risk on a player who's not nailed.
especially because of it's
Yeah,
a
if
hit.
it was a free, I would take a chance. I don't mind
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
If it's a
definitely.
hit, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, yes.
A last Twitter question comes from Nitesh Ray, and it's a bit of an open question. He asked, what would be the first few players that you would target for a game week 5 wildcard? So I don't think any of us are on a wildcard this week, so we are not that prepped for answering that question. So I don't think there is a hard and fast answer, but it would be the usual suspects that you have started the season with, like 3 Man City, 3 Liverpool, and 2 or 3 Arsenal, and two Spurs. Like it's the pricing this year makes the top 6 clubs fairly easy to accommodate in our team.
Yeah,
I think
that's a
there's
good point. I would like to add because I'm not wildcarding this week, but I already played it last week, and I'm very confident about Spurs assets for the next two. And yeah, Son is not having a great game, but if you go for that double up, Kane and Son, somehow if you're able to get them, they've got West Ham who have not looked great so far, and they've got Fulham coming up as well in the next game week. So I would triple up on Spurs. As simple as that. Also a bit of a shift, right? I think Martinelli has done really well so far, but there are games coming thick and fast. 3 games every day. I could see ESR biting into his minutes, and I mean, if you hold him already, it's not a sell, obviously. But if you're playing your wild card, and I see a lot of value in double Arsenal defense, uh, and they're right up there in terms of underlying data as well. The goal that they conceded versus Fulham was a bit of a freakish goal, just a stupid error,
Gabriel.
if you want to call it that. So I think double Arsenal defense and Gabriel Jesus, and I would definitely try to put Kane in there. If not Kane, if you don't fancy another premium striker with Haaland, I think Son is a good shout. I definitely think he could go big in the next two.
I think I'd
I
punt
don't.
on a couple of Palace players, cheap. They've come through this very, very tricky period and they've actually done well. And next few fixtures are all right. So probably one of the cheap mids and probably a cheap defender or a goalkeeper as well.
Let's
Manan,
get the
you want
next
that?
few
Yep.
questions
No,
now.
I think you all covered the basics.
Yeah, I think we have one more question left. I think we can.
There are two
If
actually, one from Joe and one from Hemant.
Yeah, so Joe's question is basically if you have Robertson and a 4.5 mid, would you switch to a Trippier and a Rodrigo, or would you stick?
It's
If
a
you
tricky.
if you have to start the 4.5 bench player every week, then I would make the switch to Trippier and Rodrigo.
I think it's he intended to say that, But yeah,
similar. Like Manan said, there's value in there. I would do it in this situation.
yeah.
But it's tricky. Like, who are you benching also? Who are you starting alongside? Who are you starting alongside Robertson in the
The
first place?
4.5 mid. The
The
4.5
4.5
mid.
mid.
No. Like he said in his question, he's switching Trippier and Rodrigo, who are two starters, from Robertson and a bench player. So, who is the second starter there?
I
So,
mean,
I think
we're
it could
assuming
be
that it's a Ben player.
someone like Bailey. Yeah. I think the fact that he's considering it is probably because there are red flags on the team. So
Yeah, there's an
purely,
upgrade there.
yeah,
fair enough,
definitely.
fair enough.
I mean,
Because
let's
we
just
don't
replace. I'll just make it more more approachable. If it was instead of the 4.5, a Bailey or a Neto, would you do it?
definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bailey and Gerrard.
Yeah,
What
so
a
Bailey and
bandwagon.
yeah, so if it was Bailey and Neto, I think we would make the switch. Sell Robertson, get Trippier. I think there are good fixtures for Newcastle coming up, and get in Rodrigo, maybe Harrison, Gross, all of them looking very good.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I think we have covered most of the questions. If you have,
There is one more question, like last one. Gundo plus Perisic or
Okay.
Kulu plus
For
Gundo plus
Kulusevski,
Perisic. That's Kulu Cook.
yeah, Kulu plus Kuku. Would you do it? Gundo plus Perisic for Kulu plus Kuku.
I would do it
I agree. I would do it.
Probably, yeah.
because I think the Chelsea defense is a red flag right now. Mendy hasn't been that great in the last few games.
Yeah, I agree. I would do it.
Would you bring in Perisic now?
If we know that we will get news, na? So if
We will
don't
get
know,
If you
contest
get news,
pressure.
okay, of course,
yeah, obviously. If there's no
Yep.
news, you obviously make that. You probably don't have to make that switch this
I am
season.
doing the
Both of us
exact
keep it.
move of bringing Cucurella to Perisic if we get the news.
Yeah,
Okay.
I probably might be in the same boat doing the same move.
Same, even
Yeah.
if Zinchenko is injured for a while, then
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Perfect.
fair enough.
So, quick question, because a lot of times Chelsea defense has been brought up, and the fact that they're not doing great. Uh, should we ask the same question about the Liverpool defense as well? Because you look at the underlying data, it's very similar. A lot of people might find this surprising, but if you look at last season's underlying data as well, Liverpool's defensive underlying numbers were very similar to Chelsea's. But it's the fact that Alisson sort of overperformed to ridiculous levels, right? That made a huge difference. Do you guys think he can keep up that overperformance, or you're expecting Klopp to come up with a magical tweak and suddenly their XGC numbers improve? Or because I'm seeing that a lot about Chelsea, but not about Liverpool. Is there a subconscious bias? What do you guys think?
A lot of people have been considering selling Robertson this week for similar reasons because he hasn't been performing lately.
So I mean,
Yeah. Liverpool defense, I'm yet to be convinced by. But Trent, I do not even treat him as a defender. So
Yep, same.
So that's basically answers it for me.
I think
Trent is
I
a
don't
firm
treat
group.
the Liverpool defense very highly. The fact that Robertson is in our sell list because he's not getting attacking returns, and that is a problem because if the defense is not working, if you're not getting attacking returns at 7 million, yes, you want to sell him. And if I had someone like a Gomez or a Virgil van Dijk, I would consider downgrading because I think there is better value out there.
So I think the consensus is that Trent, obviously, because of the creative quality that he offers, is a firm hold, but a double defense is strictly a no.
There's a majority. There's not a unanimous
Yeah.
consensus regarding Trent. Z. We know that you don't have him.
Oh yeah. I don't think. I hope I can brag about this in the coming weeks.
Yep, only the
Trent-
17 pointer to beat this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Only
Oh,
if-
I can. Do you know I captained Kane Mihir? Do you know that? And he
Oh.
scored 2 goals. Okay.
And Mr. Penalty.
And then
And
I don't.
let's
I'm
not
not
talk
sure
about
if he
that.
outscored Trent. I'm not sure if he outscored Trent.
Let me check.
Okay.
Even with the captaincy, I don't think he did.
And he cost
Did
5
you-
million more.
Did you captain Trent Anshuman? No, you didn't.
No, it doesn't. But he still scored more than a captain. That's about it. I
Kane
think.
Okay.
scored
This
20
is
points
really hard.
alongside the
Really
captaincy
hard.
and Trent.
I'm surrounded by Trent lovers. It's really hard. But yeah, I'll get you guys.
Your captain Kane scored 20 points with the captaincy, and Trent without captaincy scored 17 points this week, and he cost 5 million less.
Maybe I should get Trent in and captain him every week.
Yeah, he
That's-
should.
Viable strategy.
Yeah, on that.
That's why
note-
this. That's why the FPL Variance podcast. We have Trent haters, Salah haters,
Yeah.
Cancelo haters, everyone on this podcast here.
Yeah, and I hate Tony too, by the way, if anyone is watching. Sorry, Rakshit. But yeah, I hope he does well for you because you're flying. Yeah, we
I am
need
sure
some
Rakshit is doing that money if where he's crying with his points.
Yes, I think we've covered everything. We've covered major talking points this week. We've covered a lot of questions, and we've roasted each other along the way. It's been a fun episode, and yeah, thanks to all of you for tuning in. And if you're still watching this, as always, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon. Until next time, see you later. Bye bye.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Yes.